Welcome, everybody. This is kind of a redo episode of the Wraparound by Porch, but one that I'm really, really excited to do. So, Harmony and Jessica, we had you guys on the show at Inspection Fuel Ultra down in Orlando at Disney World, and the interview went so great. I was so annoyed when I went back and listened to the interview. One of the microphones cut out completely. And so I wasn't picking up feed from you guys until I was like, oh my gosh. Well, the upside is I get to hang out with you guys again. The downside was I was like, man, that was such a good interview, but I feel like this one's going to be even better just because that was the test run. So welcome back to the show. Long story short.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, Brad.
Yeah, absolutely. So catch me up on life, guys. So you guys were you've been kind of doing a little bit of a tour of all of these different conferences. I've seen you guys at IGO, you guys were at Inspection Fuel. Did you guys go to like Nachi and stuff as well?
Didn't go to Nachi. Probably should have been at Nachi. That'd been great. But no, I was back to back on travel and vacation and just didn't fit it in.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear that. So catch everybody up. For those that don't know you guys, tell us a little bit about Greenworks and kind of the history behind it and how it started and where you're at right now.
Go ahead, Jessica.
All right. So Greenworks was started 14 years ago this week. So we're super excited about that. It really began as as most good businesses, a solve to a problem. So Harmony started this by herself and really did an amazing job of identifying a gap in the industry, which was that somebody might be the best inspector in the world, but if they're not a great marketer, if they don't understand how to get clients, they're going to spend a lot of time doing things that they don't really love to do or not very proficient at. And so she really created this infrastructure that brings us to today. We have 125 employees. We serve the entire state of Texas. We will do, I've been saying 18,000 inspections this year, but we're already at 17. So I think I'm gonna start claiming 19 in advance. But 19,000 inspections this year. Have an engineering firm that works within our inspection business and an environmental consulting firm.
No, absolutely love it. So you guys have really diversified the business. At what point did that kind of take off? I mean, Harmony, I'm sure you guys started as a home inspection business, but catch me up or tell me a little bit about how this expanded to kind of the scope of services that you offer today.
Yeah, I mean, truly the scope came from two things. One, I knew that if I was wanting to build a larger team, I was going to have to not be so reliant on just home inspections because number one, I didn't know how to reach enough realtors, enough investors, and enough homeowners. So through my studies, and I'm just an avid reader, right? So I love to do all the personal development and the business development side of things. And I realized that it'd be a little easier for me to try to get a client and then get that one client to do more services with me as a way to expand. And that's still something really try to do today. That allowed us, though, at that point, once you get someone who can come to you for multiple service needs, right? They don't have to go shopping anywhere else. Number one, it makes it easier on the realtor, right? It makes it easier on the investor, makes it easier on the homeowner. And then two, now I'm going from just one transaction, the home inspection, into two, three, four, five, six, whatever it is that I can offer. And so we took that model and idea and we expanded that out and basically made our offering more broad. It's kind of cool in the sense that it takes a willingness to have proficiency and do services that you don't really know what those services are. Like, I am not an engineer. I get asked that almost every week, like, hey, are you an engineer? I'm like, no, I'm not. But it turns out engineers have the same needs that home inspectors do in a sense, right? Like they want to do work. They're obviously very good at engineering, but not necessarily on the business side. So because we were able to fill a gap and a need, we were kind of listening to our clients, listening to what they wanted. This is what they wanted from us. And that's what we've been doing.
No, that's really it. I mean, I hear so many home inspectors that have been running successful businesses as you guys have. where basically they just say, I listened to the needs of my market, and try to provide a service that was going to meet those needs, or maybe not even listen so far in the sense of like they heard what the client was saying or they heard what the need was, but instead of just asking, what does this individual think the solution is, you kind of come up with this creative idea for how you think it can be met. And I mean, was there some of that was involved with providing these services, or was it more really directly listening to what your clients or your market told you the solution was going to be?
Yeah, so in truth, it's a combination, right? So one, I believe in entrepreneurship. So I have inspectors that very much drive the business. To this day, we are an inspector driven firm. We're very open and honest about that. We tell that to anyone coming in our doors, and we say it all the time. Like, this is an inspector led company, meaning that everyone, including myself, we're really servant leader to the inspector, because in our model, if the inspector is winning and thriving, then everyone else will too. So that being the case, the inspector is like, hey, I see an opportunity here. Okay, at that point, now it's like, all right, if there is truly a need and you're hearing that need, and we go through several of these things a year, right, where we're like, is that opportunity real? And will the market really respond to us for that? And then are you the person who really wants to lead this and grow this into something that can thrive in our world? And if so, we can add it. So it may come from the inspector, or it may come from incoming calls, or it may come from realtors, telling us, like, hey, do you guys have this solution? And, if you use engineering, for example, if they're constantly asking us about it, one of the neat things that I did to start was I decided to offer the service without actually having it available. It's just because I need to know if this demand is real or not. Because lots of people can kind of whisper things and say things, oh, I need this or that, but that doesn't mean that I can truly make a business out of it. Well, once I was able to get enough, people that are interested, see the timelines, get the price point, and identify who could be the structural engineer leader. And at that point, not knowing engineering, I had to go rely on there's firms out there that will actually go headhunt for you, and they kind of guided me through that process. And then you have to go out and research with other engineering firms, see what they're doing. But once I took a couple years to gather that and understand it, I mean, it's been wonderful for us. So that's kind of our process.
So you're somebody that thinks way out as far as like where you want to see this go. So that's important. This isn't something that kind of like you came up with yesterday and immediately it tried to implement today. Like you actually put a lot of thought and preparation into laying the groundwork for this.
Absolutely.
Jessica, you were saying something. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, Greenworks has done an amazing job of solidifying the inspector and the inspection company as the authority on the health of the home. And so the services that we offer, while we listen to our customer base, at the same time, they have to align with that. So, when it comes to environmental or engineering, just because it's something that somebody buys and they also own a house doesn't mean it's something that they're going to buy from you as an inspector. But engineering and environmental definitely play into that very well. And so that relationship to the product and to the service is really important in our decision making to moving forward. We are in the diagnostic service, right? We're here to diagnose. We'll come look at your door, but we're not going to install it for you, right? So I just wanted to say that.
No, absolutely. But you're not just in the diagnostic service though, right? You're providing all of these other services as well, but you guys are experts at managing and running this business. And Jessica, from our conversation that we've had before, you bring a lot to the table on this as well, because coming from your background, first of all, if you could tell everybody what that background is, but you have really helped up the game at Greenworks as far as how you can manage and run the back office and the client facing side of the company as well. So tell everybody, how did you kind of come to the home inspection industry and what was your background before?
Yeah. So never in a million years would I have thought that I'd be in the home inspection industry. I started in the call center world 20 years ago, and customer service, sales, I just became obsessed with the industry that is call center management and call center functions, which is kind of unique because there's not a lot of people who say, man, give me this entry level job and I'm going to turn it into an entire career. But I really did fall in love with it. And so I went on to own a call center myself. I, ran into, I think I did 6 startups within 6 years, and fell in love with the entrepreneurship model of that, and really being able to uh, elevate that call center game. And so June 2022, I started at Greenworks. Harmony and I owned a call center, and then, had moved on to running a large call center. And everything that I could hear Harmony saying about that she needed help with was something that I was proficient in, whether it be marketing or growth or call center functions. And so, it just was a crazy idea to leave a very good job as a vice president of a multi-billion-dollar company, but I believed in her, which you'll hear this story a lot when you talk to our executives. I believed in her. I believed in her vision, and I threw caution to the wind and jumped in to this. And it's been the best decision, other than marrying her. It was the best decision of my life. So,
I love that.
Yeah, it's been really awesome. We have, just taken the business. This is a difficult time in the industry, and 12% growth year over year is like 60 in other times, right? It's 80 in other times. And so we're really proud of what we've done there. We have a call center of 26. We have an amazing team. We invest a lot in them. We believe that it really is the engine that kind of is pushing those sales along and pushing that growth along. And, we have to represent the awesome job that our inspectors are doing and all the work that's been put in this last 14 years on every single phone call that we're on. It's our job to be that face. So brought in a lot of talent to Greenworks. Very, very excited about the level of talent in our executive team and our management team, in the field. And so, yeah, I think that's probably a contribution that I've had in the growth of the company.
And speaking of growth, do I remember correctly? You guys said you're looking to expand to Florida.
Yes, we absolutely are. Engineering is not gonna, yeah, we're not doing home inspections there, but we are doing engineering there, and environmental services in Florida. Sure.
Okay, well, I'm just waiting on DBPR to get me my inspection license. So I'm just saying, like, if you need anybody on the Florida side of things, I'm here for y'all. Okay.
Absolutely, Brett.
Yeah. But okay, so let's actually talk about the actual building of the business, because I am waiting on my inspection license in Florida to come through. Mine has been active in Northern Virginia for 8 years. But in starting in a new market, especially one that is inspector dense, as Florida is, as Texas is, how did you find a way, Harmony, to really cut above the noise? And how long did it take for you to do that, to kind of get to where you were able to dominate your market, even from a startup phase?
That is such a great question, because there are so many factors that really play into how this has happened over the years. I can try to just keep it down to 8 to 10, but there are truly, hundreds of factors that play into that. But I'll kind of play with some of the big ones here. Number one, I have been blessed to attract really great people into my life and into my world. Like, there is no question that in the first 6 years of business, I, number one, started with like, man, we got to really actually do quality inspections. And when I brought in my first inspector, just the quality and the proficiency and the knowledge and the willingness to get 1% better every single day that Paul was willing to do, it was just incredible. And he laid the groundwork for the way that we should think. Because I was over here saying, listen, we've got to get clients hooked on us, right? Like we have to make them believe that we can give them a great service and trust in what we're doing for them, because this is such a huge purchase. We believe that firmly, and we still do today, but like, that's where we began. Well, he brought his side, I brought my side together. And once we combined that, what it allowed us to do, we'll say, okay, now who else is going to fit this? Who else is going to match this? And we will only work with people who believe exactly as we believe. Well, I was only able to find one inspector a year to do that. right? So literally 6 years, 6 inspectors. And it wasn't 100% perfect. Now, of my first 7 hires, 4 of them are with me today. And Michael, who's the third hire, he's our president of service right now. And so we're all still together. And then, Alex is still, Alex now runs the inspection company. And what that's done is it has allowed for the service side to be completely exemplary in so many ways. I can't even tell you, Brad. Like you have to actually build a 5-star service if you want to blow up. If your service isn't good, very hard to do, because when you need that word of mouth, and I believe that in inspections we do need that, because acquiring a client is so expensive. Without getting some natural flow, and getting natural business and getting people coming back over and over again, there's no way to scale it that I have found. So that's one of the big ones. 2, a big enough vision, right? To where enough people can fit into that vision. I think that it's not about the size of the company. I don't believe that at all. But I do believe that it is about having the room inside your world, right, that you create, that people can see themselves there and they can understand how that they can contribute. And there's clear lines of delineation that allow someone to say, you know what, if I put forth my effort and energy here, here's where my life is going to be better. And if that story is true, you'll attract the right people who will help you go to where you want to be. And fortunately, that's been something else that's gone very, very well. Another thing that it is too, I think that we strive and always will strive to do is keeping 99% of our clients incredibly happy. It so sounds so cliche, and it is textbook, but it is foundational. Can you get 100%? I think that's nearly impossible to make 100% of people happy. I can't make myself 100% happy every day. So I assume I probably can't do it with others, but I can strive for that 99%. And so, and a commitment and a willingness to make things right when things go wrong, right? And then having a culture of, hey, we're going to make mistakes. We are going to mess up. In fact, we are going to fail forward, and everything that we all hear about that, but really living it, not just speaking it, but truly living it. So I will intentionally create rewards around mistakes, right? And when we praise the mistakes, we actually learn more from what we do wrong lots of times than what we got right. So we have to be willing to go through that and quickly rebound and go forward. But I could keep going, but there's those, I would say, top things that have allowed us to continue to invite more people in. We're incredibly welcoming. We love others. We do have a mindset of abundance, so we're not fearful of other people coming in and succeeding. That is not a problem. In fact, that is quite literally one of the top things that I appreciate about those who have been friends to me in the Texas market, right? Is those who have had the mindset of abundance and willingness to let others come in and win. Because if one of us starts to really succeed and thrive, say the $1,000 average price point, which I'm a huge proponent of, I believe that the inspection industry needs to get to $1,000 average price, period. Right? We've got to raise our value. So we raise value, we do more services, we all start averaging at $1,000. And it's never going to be all, but a great majority of us getting there. Well, those who start doing it can teach the rest of us, and then we all start doing it. And now anyone who's at an average price of $200, well, if you have a lot of competitors that are 1,000 and you're at 200, what happens for you? Right? Your average from 200 is going to go to 500. It's going to happen, because it won't even make any sense anymore. So that belief that we can all grow together, rise together, make more money together, support more families, support more communities, right? And not just always more, but can we do this in a way that's going to help us achieve our dreams, right? And truly make the inspection industry thrive. That's the goal.
Absolutely. I love everything you said. And oh my gosh, to pick this apart with follow-up questions and break all of this down, we would need another podcast episode. Seriously. But there's a couple things that I really want to hit on, which is number one, raising inspectors' value and perceived worth within the real estate marketplace. thank you, Jesus, for saying that. Like, yes, because I could not agree more. When I was working up in DC, I got so annoyed at that realtors are the gatekeeper. Like, I understand how this market works. They are right. They're the perceived professional in the industry, but they're also the first point of contact that a buyer is going to approach when it comes to their transaction. And yet, at the same time, that also gave so many agents up there this avenue to recruit vendors through pay to play. And I was like, it annoyed me so much. I'm like, I'm the one that has the value, or that has the value in the sense of my knowledge, right? I'm the one that is on the hook if I miss something in this inspection. The first line of liability is me. So who then really is the true expert or the most valuable person in this industry? I would say it's my knowledge, not to detract from the knowledge of realtors, but when you have to go through the field of study that we have to in order to be experts at what we do, it's like, why are we not the ones that are operating as a realtor in that sense, in the market space where we charge for access to us, where we charge for access to our knowledge, not just our services. And I love it because there's a home inspection team down here in Florida that is doing a client appreciation event, and I'm like, that's a page right out of a realtor's playbook, which is exactly stuff that we need to be doing, because it's those kinds of little things that start to change the perception of our worth within the industry. Let's also talk leadership, because as a business owner, both of you guys have stakes in this business here. Something you said there, as far as you not even being able to please yourself 100% of the day, I think that's huge, because we are our own biggest critics more often than not. So if you were even to kind of put a percentile on it, you want to make clients 99% happy. What are the things that will bring you the most joy or the most satisfaction as a homeowner? Kind of what are those things that you need to see in your own day where you're like, I can put my head on my pillow and sleep well tonight, knowing that I am as happy as I can be with the performance of this day.
Yeah, I mean, truly, it's interesting to answer that, because I am very driven, and I do want to go out and conquer the world and do as much as possible. And so I do have to balance that a lot. I have found the book, The Gap and the Gain by Dr. Dan Sullivan. It has been a life-changing book for me, to really be able to understand that we have to be happy with who we are right now, who we've become, the lessons that we've learned, the action that we've taken, and have deep appreciation for it. Because that deep appreciation for self, and deep appreciation for those around us, and deep appreciation for the decision to make to listen to this podcast, right? The decision to read 10 pages out of a book, the decision to take a multivitamin, or have, maybe you were striving to have 8 glasses of water and you really only did 5, but that's okay. It's that stopping and realizing that we're making goals and everyone's striving, because we are all in this together, leaders and owners alike. But I think that there has to be a point at which we can really kind of understand that that appreciation will feed and fuel us to do more. And as that energy inside of ourselves grows and it expands, because we're giving ourselves more appreciation, right? We're giving ourselves more love. We're understanding that we are doing quite literally one of the hardest services. I try to say this as much as possible, and I really would like more people to say it, is inspections is uniquely difficult, because we have 4 or 5 clients in one. I get one credit card swipe, right? But I actually have to serve the house. I have to serve the buyer. I have to serve the buyer's agent. I have to serve the seller, and I have to serve the seller's agent. And so show me what other industry specifically has that particular instance in their world with the level of liability at that price point. You won't find it. So when we're thinking about, how are we running these businesses and the difficulty around it, and just why can't I do this and why can't I do that? Well, the complexity level of what it takes for these companies to run a thriving business don't add seasonality to it that most face in America, like the right where we have our high season and low season. Once you add all those complexities in there, it's a very difficult business to run, versus if you were simply running, a plumbing company where client calls you up, fix the toilet, you fix the toilet, you get paid, you move on, right? So that part for me is huge. And as I've learned to dive deeper into appreciating the fact that I've been able to go out, succeed at a service, not be able to have, sellers, listing agents barking at me, and, being able to make the buyer happy, but then also getting the buyer's agent what they want, but then also taking care of the house, not doing anything, not letting the dog out, you name it. Once that comes together, for me personally today, sit in that and tell my team, sit in that and understand how big that is, and know that if we can do that, what other things can we do? That's my take on it. But Jessica, did you want to add anything?
Absolutely. A growth mindset is a non-negotiable to be part of our company, to be part of our lives. We do crazy things. We do things that sound delusional. We stay in this delusional belief that 100% there is an unlimited amount of people that are looking for a Greenworks service, and it's my job to find them, right? As a marketer, it's my job to sell them. It's my job to serve them. For me to be happy, I need to constantly be growing and changing. And that is not always easy to keep up with. And we would drive other people absolutely crazy. Like one month, we spend 6 months. I apologize. Let me turn this off. We spent 6 months vegan, right? Now I ice bath every single day. Next month I'm probably going to be, mountain climbing. It's a constant push of our minds to go to a different place, because we live in a world and we live in a space right now that no one has ever done. Like, we are in uncharted territory with the combination of services that we have, with the number of team members that we have. And there's people that have done similar things, right? But for us, this is uncharted territory. We are 80% direct to consumer. How does that happen, right? How do you maintain that? How do you sustain it? There's a lot of things. So I think to be happy, I have to be uncomfortable. I have to push myself into that place and really relish that growth is painful. It's not excruciating, right? It shouldn't be excruciating, but having that level of pain and experiencing that, just like in the ice bath, I have controlled amounts of uncomfortable experience. And I did it before we started this meeting today. Everything beyond that 42-degree water for 7 minutes is a breeze, right? Or it's easier. The weight is lighter. And so I think a constant mindset of growth is really the key to me being happy and Greenworks growing.
I love that. To answer my own question, because I love both of your answers. For me, it's patience. And I have never been the most patient person, right? Especially thinking about going from having been a home inspector, an independent contractor in Virginia, joining Porch, and also thinking about opening a business again down in my new state in Florida. The song by Billy Joel, Vienna. I don't know if are you guys Billy Joel fans at all?
I like Billy Joel.
Yeah, all right, cool. Now he's got a line at the beginning of the song where he says, "Slow down, you're doing fine. You can't be everything you want to be before your time." And I'm like, for me, that's it, because like I'm somebody that's like, here, I'll just charge hell with a water pistol. If there's a door, why don't I go ahead and just try to headbutt it down instead of thinking about how to, systemically or systematically disable it, or, attack it with a thoughtful process. And so having patience to be like, okay, you can only do so much, show yourself a little bit of grace, but also hold yourself to a high standard. That's something for me where I'm like, you'll get there. And you just have to be able to put in the daily small work, maybe I need to take some ice baths. Maybe that's what it is. So, which I got to tell you, the Gulf right now is freezing cold by Florida standards. So I don't know how it is over on y'all's side of the Gulf, but my goodness. Yeah. I don't even need ice in it out here right now.
That's perfect, Brad. Just go take a dip. I'm telling you, just
That's it. I'll just do a polar bear plunge every morning. Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, from both of you guys, if you had a kind of a tip of the day for small business owners as you're going into 2024, can you quickly give me what that might be from each of you guys?
You want me to go first? Okay. Yeah. Tip for 2024: pick up the apples that are on the ground and stop looking in the tree for just a little bit. Control the things you can control. If you're not building homes, don't worry about the inventory. If you're not lending money, don't worry about the interest rates. Let's worry about the people that are in front of us. Let's worry about having excellent conversations when on the phone, every single call. Let's worry about doing a 5-star service. And it's amazing the growth that you're going to find and how so many other things are going to come from that, because it's really about discipline and about execution.
Love that. Harmony, what you got?
Yeah, that's great. I would say for 2024 is, if you don't know your numbers, learn your numbers. That there's no doubt that you will elevate your business and you will make better decisions without any effort. If you simply learn your numbers. I spend a lot of time not knowing numbers, and I made a lot of bad decisions around it. But if you know your numbers and if you need help, to learn your numbers, there's great books out there. There's great resources. You could get with a great accountant. You can join a peer group, a mastermind group, but do something to get yourself thinking and talking about numbers. Don't be afraid of it. Don't feel ashamed. We know statistically that most business owners do not actually know their numbers. That is a reality. People kind of start to understand revenue and profit, or what they think is profit, but there's a lot more to it than that, right? I read the book Financial Intelligence for Managers by Karen Bierman and Joe Knight, and it comes with a financial course. It is a phenomenal book. I recommend it to anyone just as a way to start learning about it, because you start to understand that, for instance, profit is not the same as cash flow. They're very different things, right? What assets do you have in your business? What assets do you not have in your business? How do you start anticipating for, an upturn? Are you growing next year? Are you just trying to increase profits? How do you keep, your money that you're making? Obviously through all sorts of means, whether that be tax or whether that be the way that you make purchases, you name it. Like, there is so much power in just starting to understand the numbers and be patient with yourself. I love that you said patience, Brad, because that is so me too. Is if you can be patient, give yourself time, just slowly go at that, I think you'll have a phenomenal 2024.
I love it. Absolutely thankful for you guys getting on the show here today. Seriously, this has been great. So, honestly, I can't wait to see you guys at the next conference. Again, if you swing through Florida, hope y'all let me know, and look forward to seeing how Greenworks does and what y'all bring to the industry in 2024. I'm excited for you guys.
So thank you, Brad, so much. And yes, we're going to hit you up, man, for sure.
Absolutely.
At least 3 times next year.
Sweet. Let's do it. Jessica, great to see you. Harmony, great to see you too. And take care. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. As always, if you have an awesome story or a success story or a challenge that you overcame, I want to hear about it. So be sure to send me an email at bradleylowry@porch.com. Let's feature you guys on the show, because, again, this is a show where we want to showcase you guys in the industry. This is a platform for y'all to tell your stories. So awesome to tell Greenworks is here today. Thank you again, guys. I'll see y'all next time right here on the Wraparound by Porch.